Okay, this question asks us to determine if the functions are linear, and if they are, we are supposed to find the equation. So let's go ahead and look at the first one, question A. Numbers on the left side on the x side are -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. On the right side, 13, 11, 9, 7, 5, 3. Now, what you want to think about is the notion of slope. Slope is change in y over change in x. So what is my change in y here? From 13 to 11 is down 2, is my change in y. From -3 to -2, it's going up 1. So my first slope is -2 over +1, which is -2. 11 to 9, down 2, -2 to -1, up 1. Again, same thing. 9 to 7, down 2, up 1. 7 to 5, down 2, 0 to 1, up 1. 5 to 3, down 2, 1 to 2, up 1. So all slopes here between two successive points are all equal to -2. So yes, this is linear. Now we know the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. Fine, we have our slope equals -2. We also have our y-intercept. Where is that? That's here. If the x value is 0, the y-intercept is whatever the y value is. So b is 7. So our function here, our y1, I believe is mx plus b, is -2x plus 7. So that was a linear function, and that is the equation. So if you want to write it as a function, I guess you could say f of x is -2x plus 7 for our linear function. Let's take a look at y2. See what's happening there. We'll copy down those numbers again, same way. We have x, and then we have y2. Same numbers, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. That's nice. So the change in x's are always going to be 1. 7, 2, -1, -2, -1, +2. Well, interesting. So here from 7 to 2 is down 5. From -3 to -2 is up 1. So my first slope is change in y over change in x is -5 over +1, which is -5. But my second slope from -2, excuse me, from +2 to -1, that's going down 3. -2 to -1 is up 1. So my second slope, again, change in y over change in x, is -3 over +1, which is -3. So no, this is not a line. Now, what can I do with this? I could go to Desmos and I could graph those points and I could see what they look like. So not a bad idea. I think I'll quickly do that. So I'll load Desmos and then I will pull it up. So if we look at those points that we have there, -3, 7, -2, 2, -1, -1, 0, -2, 1, -1, 2, 2. Well, look at what we have here. Looks more like a parabola than a line. So indeed, that second example was not a line, so that is not a linear function. Okay, let's take a look at our third example. we have y3. So we've got x and y. And again, the change in x are always the same. -2, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then I have 2.67 basically, which is what, 2 2/3 really. 3 1/3 really. 0 is 4. 1 is 4 2/3 basically. Next one is 5 1/3. And then the last one is 6. So do we see what's happening here? Change in x on this side. From 2 to 2 2/3 is down, excuse me, is up 2/3. From 2 to 2 2/3 is up 2/3. From 2 2/3 to 3 1/3 is up 2/3. From 3 1/3 to 4 is up 2/3. From 4 to 4.67 is up 2/3. Again, these are all rounded. 4.67 to 5 1/3 is up 2/3. From 5 1/3 to 6 is up 2/3. So all of my change in y's are up 2/3. My change in x here, +1, +1, +1, +1, +1, +1. So all of the slopes, you could call it 0.67 basically, but it's 2/3. So all slopes are the same, which is change in y over change in x, which in this case is 2/3 over 1, which is 2/3. If you prefer to skip the decimals, you could go from -3.2 to 0.4. You notice your change in y from 2 to 4 is up 2. Your change in x from -3 to 0 is up 3. So your slope is 2/3. Now, how about the y-intercept? The y-intercept is here again. If the x value is 0, the y value is 4. So b is 4. So our equation is y equals mx plus b. Y equals 2/3 x plus 4. I believe this was what, y3 of x, I guess is what we could call it based on our original page there, is 2/3 x plus 4. So indeed, that is a line, that is a linear function, and we're able to express that in slope-intercept form. And I believe we have one more for us to look at. This is the Y4 question. Notice here the change in x's are a little different this time. So let me copy those down. So we have x and we have y4. We have 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25. Then we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this time, the change in y are all 1. Up 1, up 1, up 1, up 1. But the change in x, here it's up 1. So my first slope, which is change in y over change in x, is 1 over 1. But my second slope from 1 to 4, that's up 3. So up 1, up 3. My second slope, change in y over change in x, is +1 over +3, which is 1/3. So it is different, not a linear function. So what kind of a function is it if it's not a line? Let's take a look. Let's go to Desmos again. And we'll put all of these points in. So we have 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3, 16, 4, we're not going to be able to see unless we adjust way out, in 25, 5. Well, this is the square root function. Maybe you recognize that, but certainly not linear, right? So we can see those guys, it's growing that way. So that is not a linear function.